me कि थोड़ा आपको tiredness हो गई है because obviously you were working hard today and helping people. So anyway, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
So finally क्या हुआ? I mean, you basically left some case. You were just saying that you had to leave one because you were getting tired. Hmm? That's what you were saying?
Yes. So normally, like, we take, uh, not tired, but I wanted to come for your,
Achha, what is happening is that the YouTube is playing there. So on your screen somewhere.
some,
On your, yeah.
okay.
So that's the delayed voice, na? Because it goes from here, it's playing there.
Okay. 1 second. I will just, 1 second, I'll log out from the other.
Yeah, so I'll have to hear myself twice, which obviously I would not like. You to definitely will not like.
1 second देना.
So anyway, now that part of it is done. Let me just check. Yeah. Okay, it's okay. It's gone. The voice is gone now.
On na?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So Shilpa, I think what you have to do is you have to just start with telling us about yourself and whatever and as much as you want to tell us about yourself.
Okay. So when I'm discussing with you and then I'm just giving you some information, I want to put one disclaimer as usual that while discussing about some of the cases, my experience about my life, in case if someone feels that I'm talking about that person without naming that person, then it's a coincidence.
My God, this is like a movie disclaimer.
Nowadays we have to do that because of online and then so many issues which are circulating around in world.
Okay, so my
So
disclaimer that anything that the guest says it is their view, it is not my view.
correct. So you have already made hands up. So this is not my view, this is their view. So I am not responsible. So what we want to say is it can be a coincidence.
Perfect. So whatever you say is based on real life, but the characters might not be the ones that they think they are. Okay,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes. Sure. So, see, originally I come from Bombay. I'm born and brought up in Bombay, and then I did my schooling in Bombay, college in Bombay, and then I started my practice in Bombay High Court. And then after around 13 years, I moved here. And last 17 years, I'm here in Bangalore now, and I'm practicing here in all the courts. So when I was in Bombay, I was a part of Bombay High Court. So the cases were there, and then we used to work around. But here, what happens is this is a appellate side in Karnataka High Court. So naturally, original side, you have to go to all the district courts. And along with that, when you are on the panels of the companies or banks, you have to go to NCLT, DRT, consumer courts. So you have to just move around. And luckily, they are all in that 2-3 kilometers vicinity. So it's not a really a big problem. Only problem is about the traffics that
Which people
nobody
don't
can
know that
help.
you're sitting in Bangalore. You haven't told us that you're sitting in Bangalore where the traffic situation is so bad that you don't know whether you're going to take half an hour to get somewhere or 1.5 hours to get somewhere.
Agree, fully agree. Even sometimes, just to go 2 kilometers, it may take 30 minutes also or 1 hour also. If, just to get on the main road from my place to that area, that is 1.5 kilometer to 2 kilometers. Sometime I have stuck that kind of thing also. So that's a traffic problem, but we can't help it. So much population, and now the change in the economy that has come, we can see that is in India, and especially in Bangalore. When you talk about, you can see that so many IT sector. So youngsters, they are getting good packages. They are affordable. That they can buy the good car, which was like in olden days, in our college days, you must be remembering only your parents will have it at a particular age. and that too either Premier Padmini or Ambassador.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, people would not know that India only before 1991, but basically 1984 when Maruti came in with
Maruti
Suzuki,
came
that
in.
was Suzuki tie-up. Only then did we get some choice.
Correct.
Otherwise, situation. I mean, no one will actually. I mean, looking back, it's not too far back. I mean,
Yes.
okay, it is for some people maybe, but otherwise, what is 84? It's just down there, and
Correct.
then you get one additional model of a car in the country.
So, and that too, you will have just one car at home. Okay, now every single person, like there are three, maybe you have three cars or four cars. So per person there is one car. That is a situation, and so naturally, you can see that on the roads.
No, but tell me, Shilpa, the Bangalore traffic, is there anything happening to change that situation, or is it just going to be like this for, I mean, years and years? Are they doing something?
I think government is trying very hard, as you know, but the thing is the population is also increasing. If government is planning for 10, the next year you see the population already 20. So that proportionately, and again what happens is the way they had planned a city, or they had not planned a city, they had not imagined that it is going to be the situation. So naturally the roads are not that big. So if supposing 80 feet road is there and you cannot expect 2 lane 4 lanes,
Mm.
that is another aspect we have to consider.
No, but otherwise, is I mean, in terms of growth, investment, and everything is still happening. I mean, is Bangalore losing out to
Investment
other
is
places?
happening very good because we are regularly getting some, parties will come. In fact, I will tell you, it is still a paradise for people like you from Delhi or Bombay, where you cannot get any property for 2 crore or 3 crores. Here you can get a luxurious apartment, still in a good location. So this is a really a good city for anybody, especially if someone wants to retire and they want to come here and they want to stay. This is a good place.
But suddenly I'm feeling old. I was just going to tell you that in 1991, that city was such a beautiful city.
Beautiful city.
It was so nice. I mean, all the parks and
Garden
everything, and
city.
yeah, and just driving around there it was. And from 1991 to, I would say 1990, not even 91. I would say 1990. I mean, from 1990 to now, when you look back and you say that whole city has got, I'm saying using the word destroyed, you might not
Yes.
like it, but for me that city has gone. Now it's okay, there are people there, yes, but as a city it was, I mean, really the weather was so nice. You got a little hot and it would rain a little bit, so things have changed really.
So 17 years back when I came, it was really, as you said, it was wonderful city. And we used to have 3 seasons in a day. Okay, that is morning starts with winter, really cold, and then afternoon will be really a summer, because this is a dry climate, so naturally you feel that, even if it is 32 degree, you feel as if it's a real summer. And then by evening 7 o'clock it is like pouring, it's raining, so we call it office goers rains. And in a day you can see, and almost like 6 months to 7 months this was the situation in a year. So
But that has
that's the
changed.
reason all that greenery was maintained.
But that has changed, definitely changed.
Actually, 100%.
I mean, this is something that you see people talk about.
So many trees have gone, so many IT sector companies have come, with companies, so many employees have come, their residences taken care. So the city is bound to change its shape.
Yeah, I mean, they don't plan for the growth. Yeah, but then okay, now before I just stopped you there, but you were telling us about yourself. Yeah, please.
Okay, so I come from Bombay, as I said, and I have some wonderful memories of my schooling, college, and the way I was brought up and my parents, and then yes, the whole life. And then I came here, I started working right from zero. So that is also a beautiful journey today when I talk about when I started my career in Bombay, and then when I came here. I mean, see, suddenly nobody knows you. You go to another city where you don't have any relative, friends, anybody, and then you start your journey once again from zero, and then you start your journey from zero to whatever you do. I mean, you enjoy every bit. because then you cannot blame somebody at the same time. All the credit is yours.
I know. But only I'll tell you one good thing that you're doing, which is I'm really happy about, that your daughter is learning how to play golf, which is the
Yes,
nicest thing you could have done. So how's that going with her?
she's doing well in that. Only thing is, whenever she doesn't have college, see, in between we say that daag achhe hai. That means the stains are good sometimes. So the pandemic has only given us that extra leverage that we can go and we can do all these activities which we wouldn't have done in normal course, because the courts were not fully working, they were online, and colleges were online. So you have that time, that extra time with you. You are not traveling, otherwise half of your life goes on commuting. So you could play golf.
But what is her, I mean, feedback? What is she saying? Is she liking it? Is she going to
She
continue with it?
enjoys. She would surely like to take it forward, but the thing is, now the college is there, her exams are there,
Hmm.
she
But
has to
you
travel.
but you say you were going to that Bangalore Golf Club.
No, no, no. We go here. There is a place there, that place is only for learning.
Hmm.
It's a private place, and then she can go and she can play in Mysore.
Okay, okay. Because that way, I mean, obviously any city, a golf club is always a nice thing. But good thing is Bangalore has that in the heart of the city.
Yes, of course she can go and she can practice there.
Well, that's nice. But in general, I think golf courses by themselves is a nice green area. It's like a lung for the
Yes,
city. Because I mean, you keep hearing in the US, because US has, I mean, huge number of golf courses, and
correct.
someone was saying that they're closing something down, and then what will
Oh,
happen? They'll basically create another residential complex or something. So you lose out on that green lung, that big green area. So I think that is something which is good for Bangalore. I mean,
yes, actually, if we have to maintain the greenery, I think they should never, never do anything. They should not touch these golf places. Simple reason, because at least they are maintaining. Those clubs are maintaining that much area, and in the heart of city, you can see that greenery.
yeah. No, that's exactly, because otherwise, look, there is a lot of this thing. Okay, for a country
Correct,
like India, there is a elitist sport and this and that.
correct.
But at the other side, you should also look at what you just said, that a green area being maintained properly
Yes,
helps the city a lot. I mean, really.
yes, and it's a good game also. Another thing is, it's a really great game. Uh, if you want to do yoga, or I think you can do this golf. I think both are, according to me, is
Yeah, don't
on the
start
same.
me off on that, because I'm telling you, I have to tell people that it is a very, very difficult sport, very difficult
Yes,
sport, because of the fact that every time you're hitting a shot, everything is unique. Because the way the ball is lying there, what the length of the grass is, the soil under that, wind factor, the slope on the green where you're hitting. Yeah, I mean, okay, I can put a lot of other factors to it, but I'm just saying there are so many factors working together, which I don't think happens in any other sport. There are,
correct. I
I
agree.
mean, the basic variables there. Okay, this will happen. Or you can put it down to a few
Yes.
things. But here, I mean, then it's not. Those things are not in
Uh,
your control.
One more important thing is that you learn patience. Life, you know, in any profession you go, patience is very important thing in your life, and it also, teaches you focus.
Yeah.
Your focus, your body language, your movement, your breathing. I mean, every single smallest thing you just consider, and then it is there. So I think it's one of the finest game.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put up on my Twitter handle. I've put this up. This is what it says.
Okay. Oh, great.
Just read it. And I've said, I've compared it with mediation. I've said, isn't it very much like mediation?
Yes. Yes.
So I say that this is the same thing what mediation does.
Correct.
So, what about, I mean, in terms of your getting time for your mediation? I mean, you're part of the mediation, that
Yes.
the
So
court
these
annex
days
mediation
I'm
center.
doing, yes, these days I'm doing mediations for commercial court also. that is pre-institutional mediations. That has started now, and I'm very happy. So many cases are settling. So when you see that result coming, we are very happy that people are coming. They are understanding, and then slowly they are developing that that trust matter, the faith that yes, this can work for me. And the moment it works for them, the advocates are happy. I mean, I think what more you want?
But I
So
think
I
what you
hope
need to,
that.
Shilpa, you have to take, there will be people who will listen to it who will not know about the law. Please tell us about the Commercial Courts Act and how pre-institution mediation is a requirement. Please, that legal provisions, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sure. So, a recent amendment, okay, of the law is that 12, section 12A, so which demands that you have to go for a mediation. So if you have any commercial dispute, and then they have given a complete list of the dispute which come under that. So sure, I won't be able to
Yeah, yeah,
give
that's
that
okay.
list right now, but there is a big list and what can come under Commercial Court Act. So these kind of disputes can come fall under this. And earlier the now the limit has lowered because they wanted the quick and speedy resolution, dispute resolution. So section 12A says that you have to first try for the mediation, that is pre-institutional mediation we call. So which is name itself suggests that it is pre-institutional. So before going to the court, in case if you have a dispute between the two parties, that is A and B have got some commercial dispute, then in normal course you go and you give a legal notice to the other side. After giving the legal notice to other side, you go to court, pay your stamp court fees, and you go for the case, and then that case goes on for years together. So instead of that, to give a boost to the economy, I think this is one of the best thing what our government has done, sir. Central government has come up with, is that they have amended this law, considering the our economy and the kind of litigations were going on. So this law says that before going to the court, you have to try once. And what the party has to do, that is a plaintiff, you can say, or complainant who wants to go to court, that he has to go to the legal service authorities. That is a district legal service authority. Every single state has got legal service authority office. You visit that office, and one of the judicial officer is sitting there as officer, and you give a complaint that I have to file this case against ABCD person, and this is what is my claim. And then give them the address. Along with that, you give them a postal service authority, postal and then you pay them 10 rupees, 20 rupees, whatever is the amount. So you pay by that, and then 1,000 rupees, I suppose, is a basic, for the notice purpose.
Hmm.
So you give that, and then they are going to issue the notice on the other side. So the time is given to the other side to consider that, okay, he wants to come, he wants to attend, he wants to say whatever he has to say. So on the first day, it is before the officer. You go there, both the parties are heard, and both the parties give their information that yes, they are interested in going for the pre-litigation, pre-institutional mediation. And then it comes in, and then you have to pay the fees to the district legal service authority. So there is a chart. So once you go and you start your mediations, then it is like any other mediation, we conduct that. And once they are agreeable, both the parties come to terms and they agree on the certain terms, it is taken again in writing, settlement agreement is drawn, and then we submit it. Only difference between the court annex mediation and this, here we are giving our names. So mediator discloses his name, and he or she signs that yes, I have done this, and so the signature is there of the mediator. So that's a major, I can say, the difference. And once that is coming in the existence, the legal service authorities issues the certified copies, like your original document, and which is executable. Now, in case if on the first day when you come to the court, that is before the officer, and then you say, no, I'm not interested. That is what the respondent says, that I don't agree with this, I deny, and I'm not interested in going for any kind of a mediation. Then mediation failed, report is given, and the district legal service authority will issue a certificate. Along with that certificate, you will have to file like a normal then legal procedure.
But that basically the provision that you don't have to go through it if there is some kind of an emergency situation which you
Yes.
need claim. So that part of it, are people misusing that?
I won't say yes, I won't say that. I'll tell you why. A simple reason, because if you ask me, when I know that my opponent is not going to settle this matter, and we are fighting over it for a long time. You know, sometimes the recurring accounts are there, and then the relation is there, and the things have deteriorated to the extent that only and only the court can. Then they may feel that it's a futile exercise of going there and investing that kind of money and time, and instead of that I can go and get a IA in the sense interim application, and I can get a stay on the property attached, whatever are the reliefs. So under those circumstances, in case if the parties are moving court, I don't think they are misusing the law.
Okay. So it's not that they create something like that and then they go straight there and saying, look, we need
I
some
don't think
urgent relief
one
or
can
something
do
like that.
that. I don't think one can do that
Yeah, that's
because
a good thing.
ultimately you are going before judges and they are completely aware.
Yeah, well, that's important because otherwise people will just misuse
Yes,
that and then bypass the whole thing. But only thing is, good thing is they don't have to go through the session or anything. They can say we refuse, we don't want to go for
yes,
mediation. So that is not like the Italian model that you have to sit in one session. So
yes.
that is not there.
Yes. See, important one more aspect is mediation is a party autonomous process. So you cannot force anybody to come for the mediation. Please understand the law can say that you come, you can go. They can give you the direction that this is the way, this is the door. But they cannot say you must go to the door and then you must wait there and you must sit. One can say this is a railway station. Whether to go and catch the train is your choice.
Yeah, but a lot of countries are not following that aspect that they say that no, you have to sit in one session kind of thing, which obviously
Correct.
goes against that whole party autonomy situation. But okay, they whatever the reasons are, because I don't start me off on that because I once I start off on that part, I will criticize the whole concept of the
Correct.
judicial system and
So
how
as
court.
far as our citizens and our government are understanding what is the party autonomous process, I think we can achieve a lot.
But I'll tell you, Shilpa, there are two people. One is Constantia in Brazil. I give that example that in the symposium she said that in her lifetime she wants to see that she can practice as a full-time mediator. And other end, I give your example that wants to practice as a full-time mediator, but obviously the way things are structured, or the courts definitely not giving anything. You tell us what they give, but she wants to move out of the litigation practice and go into totally into a mediation practice. So what do you have to say on that?
Okay, see, your dreams and reality are two different things. Your want and needs are two different things. See, even in mediation, when we are teaching anybody as a trainer, we say that what are your wants and what are your needs. So that is a basic thing about the mediation, right? So we say the underlying interest. So many things we speak about, and that is bound to be there with every human being. So as me.
But what are we doing about it, Shilpa? We have to see you as a full-time mediator. That's it.
Okay, so if you have to see me as a full-time mediator, then I think that many cases should start coming in India, which are like, as I have said, that now pre-litigation mediation is there or pre-institutional mediation is there. That is again going to through the district legal service authority. Unless, government opens the doors and says that yes, you are allowed to go to any institute, or like the way arbitrations are happening, so they are going to the individual arbitrators. It is not like compulsory you have to go to the institutional, correct? So same way, unless the government comes up with that proposal that you are allowed to go to and select, or in real sense that will be a mediation, that you select your own mediator and you go and then try to settle it. If you have settled it, And if the mediator is going to endorse, going to settle that draft, and you are going to execute it, then it is executable. Once that happens, okay, at present, what is the situation? It is only for the commercial court right now, which is under the district legal service authority. But in case if some small claims are there, they are commercial claims, and those people, they don't want to go, and they are in the relationship of vendors. They don't want to go, they want to continue with the relationship. At the same time, they want to close on these disputes completely. So they want to go to some mediator, and they are very happy about it because they can see that success rate. But they, at the same time, they know this is binding. 100% we can see more cases coming our way, and then naturally you'll see Shilpa Sharad
Mm.
sitting as a
I'll tell you,
full-time mediator.
look, for quite some time, I've been telling Mr. Panchu this, that look, in the court system, mediators are not getting anything. And I mean, of course, whenever on the public spaces, when I'm on my show, when I call him, I don't get into that discussion, but I have a discussion with him separately. But I'm very happy. I'm not saying because of me he's doing that, but I now hear him at least saying that in the court system also, all those matters should go out. People should like to appoint their own mediator. They charge whatever they want to charge. And if a person can't afford that, then some people on a pro bono basis can be in the court system who can do that mediation. So now, at least for a person who started the first court annex mediation center in the country, at least if he has that view, I'm happy. If it's moving in that direction, that
Yes.
at least first of all, parties choose their own mediator, and the mediator gets what a mediator should get as fees. Why should it not be that? What does Bangalore, your mediation center, give you in terms of per case?
It's not about the per case, it's about some per day basis, and then some number of days we can work there. Of course, they have put a ceiling, but people like me, we are happy to work, on a every day or whenever I can
So,
possibly.
but what is that? I mean, I really want to know what a mediator in the court system gets, because I have nothing to do with it. So I really want to know, how does that work? What do they get? What? Okay, okay. No one saw that. No one saw that. Okay, so but the interesting thing, the terminology used was, of course, you did go into saying pre-institution, but you use this. You said pre-litigation, and this is a terminology which has come up even in our bill, that the bill that was put
Correct.
out. What is pre-litigation mediation?
Okay, pre-litigation, right now, I will tell you, even we have got at BMC, that is Bangalore Mediation Center, we have got one wing, we have got one specific room also allocated to that, which is given for pre-litigation mediation. Now, what is pre-litigation mediation? I will tell you. So in case if you go presently, I'm saying Bangalore, okay? And then I will say in general, what is a pre-litigation. So in Bangalore, what is happening typically is that when you go to a police station, and most of the cases time it is a cases between husband and wife. So this is a dispute within family, and they go to a police station and they say, okay, this is a complaint against my husband or my wife. So a spouse is complaining about this. So at that stage, normally, typically, the cops, they request Bangalore Mediation Center to take up this matter as a uh, pre-litigation mediation. So we say it PLI. Okay, and then we conduct them the way we conduct any other mediation, and we see in case if we can put an end to that their conflicts. That means, so I'm sorry, let me correct it. We don't put an end to it. Parties put an end to it. So let me let me be correct. So we are mediators, neutrals. We only facilitate here, and the parties, they come together and they come to some mutual. They arrive at a mutual consent terms. We try to help them, assist them, facilitate them, and they go happy. Yes,
Because
that is
I really want to understand this, because look, for me, that terminology for me is totally incorrect. To say that something is going into litigation and we are doing something, to go into litigation or not go into litigation is the party's decision, whether they take
correct.
it or not. We are saying the parties have already decided they're going for litigation. but they are not going for litigation. So, because otherwise it would be pre-institution.
Correct.
So because there are so many options in between not settling and going for litigation, for some reason, people don't understand there are a lot of options in between. I'm saying
Yes.
even arbitration is an option. So
Correct.
why so
Absolutely.
to say that pre-litigation, I just feel that that terminology is being used by people who are so obsessed with the whole litigation world and they're part of it so much that they
No.
think everything goes, every dispute either will be settled by the parties or go for litigation, as if there is nothing in between.
Okay, no, I will tell you why that is a word used as I feel, okay? So, litigation is a very popular word, right? So if you ask anyone, even the smallest person on the street, if there is anything, he understand the word litigation, he understand the word dispute. So these are the very catchy words. So they wanted to reach the general public, and so they have said this is a pre-litigation. Why it happens is because when you have gone to the police station, you are first asking them to lodge a FIR, correct? So now the moment the FIR comes in existence or even the NC comes in existence, what is the next step? It is going on that track of litigation. So that means it is going on the track of litigation. You're already standing waiting for that train to arrive, and then you are taking a diversion. Instead of getting inside the train, you're saying, okay, I will not get in the train for a while, but I will go and try this pre-litigation mediation.
But you're saying for criminal matters, for criminal
Yes,
cases. So what kind
code
of criminal?
98A and other miscellaneous disputes.
So what all you think can be covered in the criminal cases going into mediation before going into police stations? That's what you're saying. Before going to police stations, or when they even reach police stations, whether they file the complaint but do not have the FIR lodged. You're saying somewhere in between that. That is the point of time, because once the FIR is lodged, is there an option also? So first, because I mean, we don't have provisions for that as such in our whatever penal code or the civil procedure, the criminal procedure code. It is something that is being done maybe to reduce the number of FIRs which have to
Correct.
be filed. So how would you look at that? Because I'm just interested
So
to really.
as I understand, the moment these parties they go to police station, before even they lodge
Yeah.
FIR, I believe they suggest, the cops they suggest, the officers they make them understand that why don't you try this option in case if you are able to resolve your dispute, excellent. If you are not able to resolve that dispute, you come here and then we will take your complaint.
So maybe this should be part of, according to you, it should be actual part of the legal provisions. It should be like that. Maybe if you think, because
It
right
is
now it's being
part
done in
of,
a.
it is part of. In Bangalore, as far as Bangalore is concerned, as I see a lot of cases coming to pre-litigation mediation, I think it has become part of most of the cases.
No, but what I'm saying is it's not part of the law. It's not part of the law. They don't
Law,
have to do it.
yes,
I'm just saying that maybe you would feel that maybe that's something that they can have in the law, that before you file a complaint, but you look, the thing is, finally, you can't force parties to go for it.
yes,
Definitely, it can just be a suggestion. So I'm
correct.
going on the other end. I'm saying law should not have anything. I'm saying that it is for parties to see a benefit in it. If they don't see a benefit in it, to even push them, because if there's a criminal matter, you can't tell them that first you go find a mediator and you sit in mediation and then you come to us. You can't do that. Which is what I'm
Correct.
saying. Even for any kind of any matter going into courts, to even put a barrier there, I
Correct.
think it's totally incorrect to do that, because you are, I mean, look, a country like ours, imagine you are telling someone who could be, I always keep saying, look at the village situation. In that village situation, where is he going to find a mediator first and reaching out to the other party? Here, there might be whatever the matter. I'm not, that's not saying that it is something
Yes.
which has a certain urgent thing, may not have an urgent thing. We don't know what the situation is, but the fact that you put a barrier to reach before you reach the court, is that correct? What do you think? Because you've seen the mediation bill, that was the attempt in that. That is the attempt in
See,
that, to keep a barrier.
see, as far as my opinion, I think that whatever we are doing right now is not sufficient. That is for sure. But what I feel is that in case if the government and the judiciaries come together consider these aspects. And I'm not going to say that only and only for the criminal cases which are going to police station. They are actually not criminal offenses also. Sometimes that is a small disputes between spouse, which really does not need to go to the police station. They, because uh, there may remain a scar, and the relations may get deteriorated in the long run. So it should be made a practice, the way the government has said that every marriage should be registered. So some kind of a, procedure can be followed, that the government itself, they themselves are going to introduce with some NGOs or institutions who are here to, give this help. That is, once somebody is married, then, periodically, like, we can save so many lives also. This
Yeah.
498 real cases, 498A, and
But you're
some
saying that,
of the victims.
Shilpa, whenever you use a section, you just have to tell people what that section talks about, because for people would not know what 498 is. So, but look, there are people from all parts of the world who watch it. In the India, of course, people watch it, but everywhere else, so they would not know. So it's just a brief on
Okay.
what those,
Okay, so
because those are
it is.
actually misused, because those sections are misused, so people should know about that.
Okay, so there is any dispute between a husband and wife. Most of the time, unfortunately, in India, this is over a period of time, we are seeing that Supreme Court passing this judgment, that any dispute which is there is taken under stating that my in-laws are harassing me for dowry, they are claiming some money, and many more claims are made. So these kind of cases are coming very often. And earlier, the situation was that the moment a lady goes to the police station, on many occasions it is seen that, they will call the man along with his family members against whom the lady is lodging a complaint, and action is taken. It is very humiliating that, somebody who has not really done something, he has to sit in the lockup for some time, and then he has to get a bail, and it goes on. And the litigation is, how many years it takes here in India. And finally he comes out that, he free, and he has not done anything he is able to prove. So at that stage, why he has suffered for that many years is a question. And that has happened on several occasions. So finally Supreme Court has come up, and they said that it is the duty of the police in charge there to first investigate, understand whether and what is the issue. So when we talk about this, I think the moment any kind of a issue, any criminal issue, or any kind of these kind of issues are raised, before even they encourage, what is it, they have to say that, okay, in this particular location you are staying, these many mediators are there. So they are not encouraging a mediator. So there is no question of, like, you are promoting a mediator because of whatever reason. So every area there will be ample of many mediators, and you have got the opportunity to go, and you have opportunity to meet that mediator. Now, as you have mentioned earlier, that some people, they won't mind paying that amount because they do not want to have the publicity, or their status is important. So all these consider these aspects, they are bound to come to you and they are bound to pay you. But whereas they are not able to pay you, they will go to certain institutes which are also working free. So
But no, Shipra, the thing is that, look, we have to really, like I said, we have to balance that out, because in a country like ours, to put any barrier, and just to say that you have to go for this first, by putting the barrier for some people, it becomes an impediment for them to even access a police station. Then it was easy for them to say that you go there. Have you tried that? Just an option. So I'm saying that for me, in our country at least, or maybe in other parts of the world also, I don't think options should be given in that sense. People, I am saying that we have to create that environment that people understand the value of mediation. And in the court system, I've been saying that, look, you can keep pushing people, and you can, whatever you are trying, almost giving it free and everything, then I'm not going to value it. Instead, let the Chief Justice of the country go out with folded hands and tell people very nicely, that look, we have not been able to deliver what we were supposed to. We can't deliver justice. So please do not come to us. We should not be an option at all, but we should be a last option. We are saying so because we exist, because we deny justice, because justice delayed is justice denied. So please find another way to settle your disputes. It doesn't work here. We can take 20 years. We are not accountable. We can send you to a lockup, like you said. We can send you to a lockup and keep you there because we are inefficient. We might take years to be able to, if we acquit you, it might be after years. Your life would have gone in that period. And we are a colonial system. We can do what we like. And that colonial mindset exists in this way. Because I'm telling you, Shilpa, tell me, a person to be sent into a lockup sounds so easy for us to say. But in a world where we've definitely moved away from being a colony, for us to even put someone behind bars for even 1 minute, when you cannot even tell the person how much time it is going to take for us to see your
Yes.
case. How do we do that? So because the colonial system has been ingrained in people's mind that it can be done. Why can it be done? You have to give that person whatever relief. And one innocent person, they say, should not get convicted, and the whole criminal justice system is all around that, so everything should be done in that way. You are going to put him behind bars for maybe 10 years. And then there was one particular case I was circulating about this person who was put on the death penalty by every court. The Supreme
Okay.
Court acquitted him. Can you imagine someone's life? First of all, putting the person behind bars is bad enough. Going through life, whatever,
Yes.
in a jail somewhere, saying I can be put hanged any time, going through that whole thing, and suddenly you acquit the guy. You have finished his life for that period. On what
Yes.
basis are we doing that? I mean, you
Correct.
have to, if you're not efficient, don't take up things that we tell our children, maybe don't take up things you can't do. And here the whole judicial system takes up things on an everyday basis which they can't deliver on. So I'm just saying that the way it is structured, we should have to question that. So I have put out, what I've done now is this mediation vision 2026, and we'll have discussions on various topics. And one topic for me very important is decolonization. We have just got this thing in our head that disputes are resolved in courts. That is why this terminology pre-litigation that has been used, I find it very sad. What do you mean everything is litigation or otherwise? There is nothing in between. People have no other option in between. I mean, we're so obsessed with it. It's over hundreds of years. Maybe I can understand it. You have to be able. It's that conditioning has happened to get them out of that. But we have to start talking about it, and no one does it. No one talks about it because no one wants to criticize the judiciary, because there is the, again, the colonial thing. You don't question the judiciary. That's the only actually element of colonization which still remains. We question the government for everything. The judiciary questions the government for everything, but no one questions the judiciary. And people don't even know, in a country like ours, it's so opaque. Just the appointment, the elevation of judges, appointment of judges, the way within themselves they do everything. Okay, they send it out to the government. Okay, we put this name out. So opaque, no one can question them. Then this whole discrimination thing. I mean, Shilpa, you please don't mind, because I don't like to start off on this, but it just comes out. So I'm just saying
Yeah,
that the
that's
discrimination
your
with,
opinion. I have no issues.
no, no,
That's
no,
your opinion. I have a different
no,
opinion.
no, definitely. We'll take your opinion, but I will also finish it also with the other part which affects you and which I feel sad about, is the fact that the discrimination in the court. Courts are supposed to look at situations when there is discrimination and give relief. In that court, there is a certain center, it's a mediation center as it's called, where a person is told, or well, you're not telling me what figure, but certain amount is to be given to them. They can't, the parties, okay, I'm saying get it almost for free because you're not giving me the figure. So I'm saying it's almost for free. And in the same system, it is a court. So there is a mediation center there, and obviously there's litigation happening in that court.
Yes.
Lawyers can charge what they want. Okay. But a mediator cannot. Are we not people who are providing some service to the parties? I'm saying we're providing a better service because we may end up in them totally finishing off that dispute. But on the other end, the lawyer can charge what they want. So I'm saying make it a fair playing field.
Okay.
Let that be the same amount. Let it the same amount. I'm okay. For the moment, if the parties get something for free and they can get litigation for free, well, okay, for I'm not, of course, I'm not in favor of that, but I'm saying if you have to do it across the board. And let us see how that mediation center even continues for a day in that court. The lawyers are going to close them down. They won't let that happen because
Okay,
if
I'll tell you something. Okay, since you have said all these things, first of all, I think judiciaries are really doing their job well. Okay, that is my opinion. The thing is, unfortunately, we have got the judiciary, number of judiciaries who are working very hard. They're honestly working, they are really good. But the amount of population, that is one judge, if he is given 100 cases in a day, it's humanly impossible for him to
yeah,
make
yeah.
any kind of a
No,
justice.
one clarification.
So
Just Shilpa, one clarification. The judges are doing a good job.
yes.
Judiciary as a collective is what I have a problem with. As a collective, that whether they're
So,
being able to
so
deliver
there
what
the
they're supposed to.
problem is because of that number. See,
Yeah,
please understand, Vikram, the problem is with the number. If we have got, like any other foreign countries, if we have got that many number, if you go and see any European country, they would not have more than 10 cases or 5 cases in a day. Whereas our judiciaries, they are suffering, they are really struggling. 100 cases a day, 50 cases a day, how do we expect them to do that? So naturally they are not at fault or something, but it is our population and unfortunately a part of economy that is not permitting to us to have that many judges, that much. See, one judge means he should have his complete staff, that is his two stenos, his clerk, his court, his so many things, infrastructure. So that kind of a amount of per month, government is not able to pay that. That's the unfortunate part.
no, but look,
So
Shilpa, yeah. No, Shilpa, what I'm saying is that we understand that obviously there are infrastructure issues and everything, but then don't take up what you can't deliver. You, when a person comes to you, you say, look, we can't deliver. It is going to take,
so
right then you
that's the
tell them.
reason they have started with this court annex mediation, and this is a very beautiful concept, I think. At this particular moment when it started, understand, it started 10-15 years back. So at that stage, I think this is a wonderful concept for them. They started and they started slowly picking up. Now you will ask about the, you have asked me earlier also, and now also about the fees. So please understand, the advocates are mediators, so they are trained. So some of the advocates who have inclined, they have shown that I owe to society, I want to come forward and I want to do this. So this is called honorism. This is not a job or something which you are picking up. Again, you can see that they are selecting the mediators at that, I mean, for that particular interviews and all this they take, and then they are taking you, they are giving you the training. Again, this training is completely free, so government is investing on you,
No, Shilpa,
and
look.
then you are doing this honorism.
Oh no, I totally understand that. That definitely for them, it's if the courts have to do that because they want to get the matters out. Now look at it. You look at it from a perspective of, let's call it a profession. We'll discuss later whether it's a profession or not. There are
Yes,
mediators who want to make this their livelihood. Okay, that
yes,
is because that is, it's a area of practice. Now, for some reason, we are totally obsessed with the courts and disputes have to happen in courts. Now, a person who wants to practice outside the courts as a mediator, on the other end, on the same across the road, someone is giving it free. The person is not going to obviously go there, which is, I'm giving you a live example. And
correct.
I don't know Niranjan Bhatt at all. But
Yeah.
there was a webinar that he was speaking. He said in
Uh,
that city, they started a private mediation center.
correct.
The lawyers got together, started private mediation center. There wasn't a court annex mediation center, as I understood from that. And then it was doing well, he says. And the court started that mediation center. They had to close down their mediation center. But he
Yes,
had a practice in the courts, so definitely it wasn't such an issue, and no one goes and challenges that. One, writ petition definitely needs to be put there on top. Look, let's not even get into the writ petition part. Courts have now started putting a certain amount that you, whatever, I mean, we call it a fine or whatever, that if you filed something and they think it's frivolous, they will tell you to deposit this amount. This was supposed to be a writ petition, which where people could have access to their fundamental rights. If they've been affected, they could come to the court. That also they're trying to put an impediment to. But okay, forget that discussion. But the main thing is that if a person is outside and wants to practice as a mediator, The person inside the court system has a litigation practice and is also doing the mediator. He's affecting the livelihood of someone outside. What right does the court or anyone have a right to affect someone else's livelihood just because, okay, we can also do this, we have a litigation practice, okay, we'll go to the mediation center in the courts? For what reason? I mean, look, I'm not going out and challenging it. I don't want to prove, I don't want to waste time with the judges, with the courts. I don't want to do that, because like we just said, you don't know how much time it's going to take, and then tomorrow they'll say, because if it affects them, they might just say it's frivolous, you deposit this amount. I mean, imagine the way the structure has been created, that they will get away with what they want. I am saying they have no right. If there is a person who can't afford something, pro bono, how you manage it with the person who wants to practice on a pro bono basis for the people who are not being able to pay for it, that's a discussion we can have separately. But a person who can pay, you will give it for free. And I am practicing only as a mediator outside. I have nothing to do with the court system. That means my livelihood is going to be affected. For what
Yes.
reason should you do that? I mean, I have seen no reason for you to do that,
Correct. I
and you can get
understand.
away with it.
I
And you can,
think this will be solved soon once our Mediation Act comes in existence.
no, that's the worst thing that can happen if it comes. But what I'm trying to tell you is that first mediation center in the courts was in 2005. We're sitting in 2022.
Yes.
17 years of someone wanted to practice as a mediator outside. 17 years he could not do it because it was being given for free. How did the
Correct.
practice did not develop? No one developed the practice. I keep looking out for people. Are you practicing as a mediator outside the court system only? I don't find any. I mean, okay, there are a handful. I'm not saying they're not. I won't say zero. There are people doing that, but there's nothing compared to what
Yes.
it should have
But
been.
they are doing it after their retirement.
So what, look at the situation. That means we have something, a healthy practice of mediation could have developed. That the courts in 2000, first time they thought about it. Look, in the amendment in the civil procedure code, by if what year did that come to? Okay, AFCON judgment or whatever happened, and of course it became clear. And that if that point of time you started sending out things outside into the private world, and then a whole practice would develop around it, people would then go first to that. Filing a matter in the court for a lot of people, I mean, the cost is a lot. Going to a lawyer, the lawyer taking you there, whether the lawyer after that then wants you to settle or not, keeps pushing you into the litigation, whatever. Because I hear of lawyers doing that. They don't let those people settle, even if they want to settle. And you imagine, the parties want to settle, but the lawyer puts something in between. So that's happening. So why do you want to send them to lawyers? First of all, we have to get over this, that dispute resolution has to happen with lawyers and the courts. No, dispute
Yes.
resolution happens within people, within themselves.
Correct.
They don't have to go to lawyers. So now what we're doing, we send them to lawyers first because it goes to court and then goes out to mediation. So if a
Correct.
healthy practice develops out there, I'm now, we can't go reverse the 17 years, but I am saying today, just get out of this whole thing of we want to be associated with mediation, the court system. Don't you just get out of that, let it go outside totally. Yes, like I said, Chief Justice of India goes out to all media and folds his hands and tells people.
Not that, but don't worry, we can have another parallel thing is that, we have got so many NGOs or people like, the Rotaries there, Lions are there. So these people should come forward, according to me, and they should come forward and, have a regular basis sessions. That is, one mediator they can select a month, and they can allow that person to convince, they should allow that person to speak what is mediation, how mediation works, what is the benefit of mediation. So basically, according to me, the awareness program, if conducted, I think a lot of problem will be solved, because most of the people, they are not interested in mediation, I mean the litigation. They would love to go for mediation. Please understand, we talk about India, and when we talk about our panchayat, so in olden days, what was happening, they were not going to courts, every person was not going to court, they were going to punch, and then punch used to, but that is a completely different concept.
Yes, yes.
It's a different concept that is not nothing to do with mediation. But please understand, that means they were not going to the court, that's all I'm saying.
Oh,
So
that
they
is bad
wanted
enough.
some.
No, that is bad enough. I'm telling you, I just did one session. The Andi Smriti, which is part of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, they organized an interaction with me and some teachers from a village, rural area in India, in Bihar, in West Champaran. And first thing I was asking them, because they're already been spoken about mediation in some session by someone, and I was asking them, and they were trying to link it with the panchayat. And what I mean, I was asking them how it works. They're saying the panchayat forces them. Of course, panchayat gives a decision first of all, and actually, to the extent sometimes people are thrashed if they don't accept the decision of the panchayat. What they say is, the word he used was dabang, dabang panchayat. So
Yes.
I had to,
So
it took some
so
time. I had to, in that discussion, it's out there. I will say, send you a link also if you want. But the first thing to distinguish that was important. Then after that, then what is mediation? Then started that discussion that, of course, the parties decide.
correct.
So that aspect was very clear
So
to need
there
to
are
distinguish.
so many types of the alternative dispute
No,
resolutions,
no,
as
no,
we
Shilpa,
know.
why I'm saying, why I'm telling you this, why again I want to point out, because the Supreme Court has a manual. The MCPC has taken out a training manual for mediators. There it says Panchayat does mediation. I am saying that the situation is that bad that if you don't even understand what is happening at the village level, and you go out and tell the villagers that panchayat does mediation, how will they ever understand mediation? This is in their training manual. Forget everyone else. It is put it there. It's serious the way this is being communicated.
It
How
is
will I be able to?
one of the dispute resolution method, that is alternative dispute resolution method, and most of the time it was preferred because poor people from villages, they really had no money. They did not want to go and approach police, or they did not want to approach a court. So under those circumstances, they used to go to these punch who are their people, who are from their city, their village, and they used to. So every village did not have the dabang punch. Okay, so certain punch were also good, and that's how it got promoted. So it's a mouth publicity that yes, if you have any dispute, go to punch and you'll get a justice. So same way, what we have to do is we have to really focus on our concept of mediation, and we have to keep on talking about what is mediation, how it works, what is the benefit, then how fast you get a dispute resolution, and how the relations are reinstated. So we have to talk about the benefits. People will surely understand. I'm 100% sure that, at some point of time, people will realize that, okay, I do not want to go for litigation. Let me try first. So they are bound to come. And at that particular moment, I'm 100% sure that, it is going to flourish, that private mediations, what we call, and what we are looking forward, so many good mediators will come. There won't be any age bar also, that you have to complete your 20 years in profession. I think maybe sometimes, somebody is in profession for 5 years, is really doing really good, or he has already done a learning process that he can do unlearn. So of course I have nothing to say about their those
No, but look, Shilpa, you picked up a very interesting thing, that under the court rules, that a person should have 10 years of practice as a lawyer. Only then can he become a mediator in the court system. It's such a surprising thing that a person who comes out of law school and enrolls in the bar, day one can defend a person who's on the death penalty. But mediation is some rocket science that no, this person can't do that. Those people are in dispute. What's the worst he can do there? Let's have a look at it. And here, death penalty is there, but can defend the person, because not a problem. What is death penalty? What is the person just going to die? But here, no, dispute resolution, mediation. What will he do there? I mean, what he might just, what he's going to blow them up or something. It's so strange. It's so
I
structured the
will tell
way.
you why
Yeah, yeah,
I'll tell you
please.
why that must have happened. I feel that there was a intention behind this. Simple thing, they initially wanted somebody sulja hua, somebody who is completely understanding the law. That was the first criteria, and that person can only do unlearn. So unless you have really worked on reasonably that many courts, you have really gone and practiced, and then you can do this unlearn process. So that was the whole idea. See, when it was coming, it was a baby, it was an infant. So naturally, they cannot give it in the hand of somebody who has passed out from yesterday. Maybe he is the better one, but still, they have to first request someone who is in profession for that many years. That person can get trained, and then he starts giving the, again, the advantage I will
But
tell you, someone who is sitting there who has passed out yesterday, it's like a bypass surgery. Someone who has come first in his final year, and tomorrow his father is having an operation. Will his father allow my son is the best? No. He will go to a senior cardiologist, or for the operation, because someone who has done the operation, you want to give your life in that person's hand, not the person who has come first.
But
Simple reason is that experience.
I'll tell you, Shilpa, I think someone has gone wrong in understanding, first of all, mediation. One, that the person, like you said, a lawyer, legal experience and everything. I am on the other side, that you don't need to know the law. If you start saying that you mediators need to know the law, then obviously in a country like ours, where obviously the numbers required are so large, will you ever be able to get those numbers of people who would know the law and then start mediation? Why do they need to know the law? It is for me, a mediation is a process where the factors involved are beyond the law. And if if there's anything on the law required, you will get an expert to come in. If a lawyer is required, get a lawyer to do it. If there is a, say, a technical aspect relating to a civil project somewhere and you need an architect, you will get an architect. But to say that all those mediations in that project have to be done by architects, that is going to be wrong. it is it's I think the process people don't understand, and maybe the role of the mediator is not understood. There is a skill that is already there. To say that you said about surgery, that is a skill that person has to learn through training, because how he has to stitch something up or how he has to make that cut and where that organ lies is such a very different thing from a person to person interaction. We are now, if someone wants to control how people interact with each other, we know better as to who will be your mediator, who can help you resolve your dispute, but you don't. I mean, again, this is that colonial mindset that we know better. The parties are smart enough. They know you can tell them, you can make them sit with someone, and they're not comfortable with that person, they will not go ahead with it. It's their dispute. It's like watching a movie on Netflix. People go and see the rating and they ask people, "Okay, what should I watch? What is good?" And for a person who's going to help you resolve your dispute, they will do it so casually. They will not gauge the person. It is they have to gauge the person. And for every party, for each party, every individual is unique for them. They will know whom they want. There is no generalization on it, that okay, now this person can do a surgery on everyone. No, everyone, this mediation kind of thing, any interaction, everyone is fit for some people is not fit for. So I think there is some, I think we have to clarify or discuss this aspect of as to what is mediation. First of all, there seems to be some misunderstanding of what the process is. Yeah, Shilpa.
So that's the reason I'm always saying that, we need more of a sessions which are going to make it clear what is mediation, how mediation works, what are the ingredients, major things, and then who wants to do mediation, what kind of a temperament you need to have. So many things are there. We never discuss those aspects. And then it is only and only taken that, okay, I want to do mediation because A is doing mediation, he is successful mediator, I want to be mediator. That is not going to work. The way you have rightly said that, we have to have atmosphere, environment, we have to create that.
Uh,
And more discussions have to take place that,
uh, yeah, no, I tell you what, with that session that I told you about these teachers in that Champaran thing, I want you to have a look at it whenever you get
okay.
time, because I actually went through this. First of all, what is mediation had to be explained, that the person doesn't decide for you. Then I asked them that in your village, is there someone that people trust to help them resolve your dispute? Because first of all, first thing, that panchayat thing came up. We had to get the panchayat out of the picture. Then I asked them this. Then names started coming out. There are people in villages whom people go to help them resolve the dispute, who do not take the decision for them. They are do mediation action. What mediation is, they're all there.
Neutrals.
They're totally, and I mean, so neutral word I don't want to use, because person, I mean, that whole concept of neutrality by itself is a discussion by itself. It's a debate by itself. So I won't get into that. But I'm just saying, this is that person that they trust. However, they trust the person, whether the person is, they think the person is impartial. It's their gauge. And they're doing it for years. And those people are part of the community. They are trusted by them. And I asked them how they do it. So nicely, they explained everything, and everything that you would want the way mediation should be. informal process. He says he comes and sits with us. They're supposing they're sitting in the floor and doing it. It's not like someone sitting up there and it's like that same atmosphere of a judge or a court created. No, it's very nice. Watch that. So I'm saying that people like you have to just go out and meet people, whatever. Look, I'm saying villages is one village Shilpa has to adopt, to explain to them and just talk to them and
Yes.
make it dispute free. An interesting thing that came out from that discussion was there is a dispute free village in that area where
Wow,
no
good.
matter has been filed in court
Very
since
good.
since independence. They resolve the
Yes.
disputes within themselves. But the only interesting was I haven't got. I asked these Gandhi Spriti people to please understand. I hope it is not another Damang Panchayat sitting there and doesn't let
Yes.
them go to court. So we have to be careful on that part. But I'm just saying that people know what the process is. For some
Yes.
reason, we think we are giving them some new thing, some, like I said, some rocket science is coming to them. No, they know what the process is. It's being used. You were part of the symposium. That was the theme of the symposium, that people might not know the word mediation, but they're familiar with the process. So we
Correct.
just have to be able to tell them this is a process that you are using all the time in families and communities. It's not a new thing. It is just that it has, for, okay, changes in the social structure, which I keep saying, that the fact that we have as a society changed, as communities changed, the community feeling maybe is not there. The way elders are treated, or people with wisdom on one end, and the materialism on one end, and money on one end, all that changes that have happened in society. So people have moved away from it, but we can move them back. We can move them back as long as the right people are there. And for
Correct.
me, that is the biggest thing, and which is now my focus, is that we just have to go out, be it villages, communities, in small towns, big cities, everywhere. Just ask people in families and communities, who are those people that you trust, or you can say that people can trust to help them resolve the disputes.
Yes.
Get those names out, and let's take them forward. Create an environment where people can feel that these people, yes, we can trust these people. And what I'm thinking now is I'm involving teachers for that, to take that word out, because teachers are respected. They're not as mediators. I'm saying as people who can spread the word. So we need them to go out to the villages and communities and just ask this question. So are you going to be part of this process or not, Shilpa?
Sure, 100%. This is a really good concept, and I would really be happy to be part of. And if you are taking any village and you want me to adopt any village which is there, I don't mind. Simple reason, because see, ultimately, what are we looking at? We are looking at a dispute resolution, and we want peace, we want happiness. That's all at the end of the day.
So what I'm
So
saying
why
is that,
not we adopt a village and make them
no,
understand?
three things you have to adopt. Three. One, you have to adopt one village, one community, would be your residential community or anywhere else, any one community, and one school. So three you have to adopt, and let's, in that whatever way it has to be, little meeting or one video you can make and circulate it, whatever way, just get that worded. What is, it's not rocket science. This is what it is. Connect
Yes.
them to the process, and then ask them who are those people in your school, in your community, in your village, whom you trust. Speak to them, and you will notice, and you will even ask them that, okay, how you benefited. They'll tell you everything what the person did, and you will feel so happy that all those things that you were reading in theory, they already know without ever reading the theory. They're doing
Correct, correct.
exactly everything that is there. Theory is, we don't need theory. We don't need to tell them those particular words. But now we don't have to teach them those words. We don't, there's no use in that process to know that word, but they know what the concept is. They're doing it.
And I'm sure, Vikram, what you say, it is going to be very easy, simple reason, because in villages, the emotions and relations are extremely important. They are still human being, they are still breathing, and they are still, having that relationships, very strong bonding. So it is going to be very easy. Whereas in urban cities, I think we have changed a lot. So, it is going to take time in case if we adopt a particular area, it's going to be complex.
Absolutely.
Simple reason, because we have made our life complex and we have got too many dynamics. So too many things are, affecting us.
No, but I tell you, Chilpa, that actually that whole communication hasn't happened. I'll tell you about we have a resident welfare association here. So I went there. I just spoke about it. I said, look, I mean, exactly what I was telling you, that we moved away from it, but it is not a new process. It's always happening. Just had that little discussion, and I felt a change in the way people looked at, even in that moment, because in an association meeting there are lots of things that people have within with the association, with the people governing this, and I could see a change in the way they were thinking of how to resolve it. I even heard someone say, "Oh, Vikram has just spoken about this. Why don't we do it this way?" So, and just that little communication, that little bit can change things. So imagine that if first, look, again, I'm not saying that by just talking about it would help. We have to have the right people. So those people have to be identified first, according to me, because you can push a concept, and if the wrong people are doing it and the user experience is bad, you'll get such negative publicity for the process. Then after that, people will just say, oh, this doesn't work, there's nothing, why we
Correct.
don't want to use it, let's go into court again, the same thing goes. So first thing, the identification of the right people. And
Hmm.
that is, I mean, okay, we'll start small. That's
So
why I
now
want
I
you.
think you are right, Vikram. Simple reason because you said identification of person, and that is where the court, when they started the mediation centers, they were able to focus on those advocates because they know these advocates who are appearing before them and who are ready and willing to do some work voluntary for the society. So that was the concept.
Well, I tell you, look, Shilpa, the thing is that the person, again, the connection of mediation, first of all, with lawyers, that connection that happened, you were saying that mediation had to be promoted, but that mediation should have been promoted beyond the lawyers. Then it would have been something which have really helped society. But today, again, in
Now
litigation,
it is
first of all,
happening, but now
no,
it is happening. You may find that so many architects, doctors,
yeah,
engineers, they are coming and they are trying to help in their community. So in a way, it is a good. Those
no,
disputes which are related to engineering, for example, or CA for that matter, they are coming forward and they are doing that work. So I think now we are seeing that. So first, anyway, 10 years are teething, and then these are the
no, this
problems.
it's no, the process will still. There's some people who are doing it because obviously they enjoy doing it. But is it a paying profession for them or not? That we'll have to ask them. That whether
Yes.
as an organization, say as Rotary or whatever you're saying, they talk to people, and then they have some people there who say, okay, I'll just do this. Those nice things should keep continuing, not a problem. But finally, if you have to make it something which has to be used by people, they should have people who will be available to them, and they should pay for it, they should value it. How do you do that? I mean, if you don't value someone and you expect someone to rise above everything, and he has to be, I mean, what, floating in the air or something, that you will go to the person. It's just a normal person. It is not someone that you have to have who is doing it for free, and is someone who's wearing a white robe or a saffron robe and doing it. No, it's supposed to be another profession. Again, okay, profession word, I'm using it. I'm still have we need to debate this, whether it's a profession or just a way of life.
100% it can become one point of time a profession,
No, no,
like educators is a profession. So same way mediators, of
I'll tell
course,
you why. I'll tell
100%
you.
will become a profession, I'm
No,
sure,
no, I'll tell you
100%.
why the profession I have a
Yes,
problem with using
I'm
that
very
is,
happy
I call
you
it a
used
way.
that word.
No, I call it a way of life only because when you use the word profession, then it comes into a certain kind of training required and certain kind of qualification required. And we have to move away from that if we really want people to benefit from it. Because, like I said, if in a village you identify someone and then you say, first you go get this qualification, get this kind of training, and then you can do it in the village. I mean, come off it. He's already doing it, already successful, already giving people that value that they need. And then we are saying, no, you are not doing something properly. We will tell you how to do it. It's such a sad thing. No, so no one, they don't need to be told. They know how to do it. So that's why I don't want to use the word profession in that sense. It is a way of life for people, but that way of life is something which is benefiting people, and people should
Yes,
value that. And if you they start valuing it, that process will be discussed. Those people will be discussed. I want individuals to be discussed with it. You were talking about institutions. I'm saying, what in institution doesn't mediate, people mediate. So where are
Yes,
those
I
individuals? We
agree.
have to
Also,
highlight.
also one more thing I will tell you, Vikram, that when we talk about mediation, we always say it's an alternative dispute. Whereas I really differ from that. I say it's a dispute resolution. I don't say it's an alternative. It's a main, it's first, and this is a primary. And if this does not work, then you can go to litigation. So this is not an alternative, but that concept has to come, that mediation is here to stay. Mediation is a preliminary step. In case if you have any kind of conflicts, you are going to meet the mediator, and then you are going to see if we can settle those disputes with help of mediator. If that is not happening, okay, fine, the mediator says, okay, now both of you have come to this particular agreement that we cannot settle it.
No,
Fine, send it back. And
no,
then they are free to go to court.
no, Shilpa, this again, we should not make ourselves so important. I'm still saying, and I put it on my website also, that people should first settle their disputes within themselves. Mediators are not required. First step is dispute resolution is
Then there
amongst
is a
yourself.
barrier, only
Yeah,
then
after that,
coming.
yeah, because otherwise it become the same thing as litigation, that, oh, you should go for litigation. I'm not saying you should go for mediation. I'm saying you
Correct.
first sit together. I put it out. I will show it to you what I put out there, and that's the way I feel. I mean, that's the way I like to tell people about it, that these are things which you first have to resolve within yourselves. I mean, let's see what
See,
I've read.
mediation comes in existence only because they cannot talk to each other. That barrier is there, that wall is there, and because of which they really have hesitance. So
Correct.
that's the time this facilitator comes in existence.
This is what I had put down there.
Yes,
Uh, okay, this of course part of it expensive and
that's
everything.
nice.
But the important thing was here. My practical advice is what I said.
Yes.
But I just feel that this step
What
is
you
the
have
first step.
mentioned the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
saying that when they are not able to talk to each other, they
Yeah.
are not interested in talking because of that barrier. That I know that he will not hear me or she will not listen to me, and that kind of a thing is there. So you have to take help of some third neutral party. That's the time you come to mediator.
Exactly. No, and I'm saying same thing with litigation. I'm saying people can, litigation is also an option. It's not that you should not go for litigation in certain situations. If the mediation is not working, you try something else, and you could also try litigation. So these are all steps. So for me, that is important to tell people that this, first of all, dispute resolution is not connected to courts only. That's the
Yes.
first thing
That
that
was
people have to.
always, actually, if you see our Indian tradition, that was always only after, you must have, you have heard me earlier also, that I said that only after Britishers came, this is the pattern. But before that, we were not following that. We had our own system, and we were more happy. There were no word justice, justice. And what is justice? That is again, I always challenge that word. So what
Just
is justice for you is not justice for me.
exactly.
So who has got the justice?
First of all, here, like I said, no, justice is denied. First of all, justice, even saying that there is justice comes in when you can actually give it at a point of time when it is required. First of all, the justice by itself, yes, like you're saying, whether it is justice for me or for you, that's another point. But here I'm saying that justice by itself is denied. So even going this whole colonial thing, that's what I'm saying, you're agreeing with my colonial aspect of it.
So if we talk about India, I think we were quite happy, and we had our systems intact, and that's the reason we used to have our dispute resolution methods. And now that we have come to this stage that we are understanding mediation, so I think we should emphasize on one very important aspect, is that it is not one of the alternative dispute resolution method, even if it is under the section 89 of CPC.
Right.
We have to, when we talk about it, we have to emphasize that yes, for the court and mediations, yes, this is section 89 CPC, but otherwise when we talk about public at large, then let's understand the mediation is a dispute resolution method, which is a preliminary method, and only when you fail on this, then you can go and knock the doors of the law,
No,
and then go to the
even
court.
then not. That's what I'm trying to say, that even after mediation fails, there are other steps you can take. Courts are still not there. That's what I'm saying, that connection that people are making, that even after mediation goes straight to litigation, that is where I have a problem with. Because what you can do, neutral evaluation, you do expert determination, arbitration is an option. There's so many other options in between. This has to get out of people's mind, that everything after this point of not being able to go in for mediation goes to courts. There are a lot of other ways you can find. Those have to be also developed. So I think that, but I'm just saying, look, when you said we had traditional methods of resolving disputes, or Constantia is watching, she's in Brazil, and there also in that symposium, there was someone from Brazil, and I asked her what was the situation in Brazil before the Portuguese came. And she said she didn't know. I mean, people don't know. Of course, there are some indigenous communities, definitely, they have retained some part of what they do. But otherwise, what was happening in the country? They just destroyed everything. They just destroyed those
Yes,
methods of dispute resolution. And now we have to slowly work that into the society, into the community, and
correct.
and that whole conditioning of the mind that has happened.
See, as far
Oh,
as
we have to work
India
on
is
that.
concerned, you can go back to Indus culture.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Sindhu Sanskriti, that's how that word has come. And if you just look at that, and then you see there the way the dispute was resolved.
exactly. That's for Shilpa. You have to tell us all that. That is where you come in. With all your experience and your knowledge, you have to tell us all that. That this is how it was done in the Indus Valley civilization. Please tell us.
Yes. So if we talk about Indus Valley and then those civilization, so earlier it was on the banks of, naturally, Saraswati. Now Saraswati is not there. Saraswati has vanished. But otherwise, all those tributaries, Indus, and along with that Satluj and other five. So people were residing around it, and it was a huge population even during those days, it is said. So it was more of a barter economy was happening. So it's not that today we are talking about economy, that even those days it was there, and they were flourished. They were more happy and more prosperous than what we are today. So why was that? There was a perfect understanding about law and order. That was one aspect. The traders, they knew, and when they were into this business, and if there were any disputes, again, those disputes, how they were resolved. They used to go to, the way you said, neutral person, a person from the village, a person who is a wise person, who is a intelligent person from a village. He was a person who would come and help them, who would rescue them. And as you have said rightly, the remuneration was there for that person. So that means that was a profession. That's the reason I all the time tell you that mediation is a profession. So even those days, people were not doing it for free. So when the dispute is resolved, some amount is given to these people.
Yeah, that's exactly what we
Correct.
have to get back. Exactly. Yeah.
But now Britishers came and they changed the whole thing. And now we are saying, okay, justice. If you want justice, go to court. How is that? And still you don't get justice after going to court. Simple reason, because the person who lose feel that, oh, the court has not understood me. And the person who wins feels, but that time 20 years back, that was a situation. And now what I'm getting is not adequate. So a person who has won the case also feels that he has not got justice.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, those are issues which come up in that system, or any system will obviously have their issues there. But we are going back to the basics, very basics. Things which you were saying was not something which is alien to people.
Correct.
They just moved away from it, but it's not that they moved away from it. Still saying that it's not that in families it's not happening, and I just told you in villages it is still happening. It is just that those things are being overlooked in this some technical word called mediation, that they don't know what mediation is. We have to tell them what mediation is, who a mediator is, whom you can appoint as a mediator. I'm just saying stay away. That's my only thing to it. Or be the judiciary, be the government, just stay away from it. Don't enter into people's houses as to whom they will appoint as someone to help them resolve a dispute. Don't do that, because again, then you're going back to the whole colonial aspect that we have to be part of everything that you do. No, you don't need to. We know how to handle our dispute. We'll be able to do it. It's just because we have conditioned us over those years that everything dispute resolution happens in courts, and people think that's the way they have to go about it. Change that. Go out, tell them, put out material, tell them about, okay, connect them to the past if you have to, if there is something in history, but don't connect it to the panchayat. You'll send the worst signal, because if I tell someone in the village that mediation is what the panchayat does, immediately the whole concept goes. It just, they will, you, whatever you might say that at the panchayat is supposed to do it this way, that's not what the ground realities are. Ground reality is very clear. Panchayat gives a decision, and they know that. Even in our movies, panchayat ka faisla.
Panchayat gives a decision. Naturally, it is another form of a, you can say arbitrations.
Exactly, exactly. So if I to go
Another
out
type
and
of arbitrations. It's a our original arbitration is again a concept which we have got from the Britishers or foreign concept. But our concept, the same parallel word is panchayat.
exactly, so that's what I'm
And
saying, that
only
it,
thing is there we have got five people, wise people, supposed to be.
supposed to be. No, but look, that's the thing. That politics has come into it. A lot of other factors have come into that panchayat system. But these individuals who are still there, who are still respected, and they don't have an authority to impose a solution. That's what. That's why even in the theme of the symposium, I put out the definition from the Singapore Convention only for that reason. That's the important part. Doesn't have the authority to impose a solution, and they're not doing it. So these are the pure what mediation that is happening. These are the people that Shilpa is going to identify in that one village that she has identified. Which one is it going to be? You tell me. So that,
Yes, sure. I have to really search and I have to zoom and then I have to adopt.
so there in Maharashtra, there is some place that you go to, don't you? Isn't there some place in we can do, maybe you can adopt one in Maharashtra, one in Karnataka, everywhere.
In Indian, I can take one city, one adoption.
Yeah. But I tell you, the advantage of a person like you being out there is because we need good people to even promote the concept. Good
Correct.
people out there is not, and you're not, of course, this aspect that, oh, I have some interest in doing it. Or they will also understand, no, she wants to do it from the heart. And it benefits over time, will benefit you because the
Correct.
community will connect you with mediation. So
Correct.
there will be situations that they feel they want to come to you, and they don't, they
Yes.
might be, might not want to, but the person there might not
Also,
be
we
able to handle.
cannot expect the fruits at this stage. Simple reason that we are going to put a seed. So it's like a mango tree. You cannot expect that you may get the seeds in the in your lifetime. But 100% we are working for the society's betterment. So sure, next generation will see the result.
Yeah, so that's, and anyway, that's, look, like that vision 2026. Anyway, now it's 4 years. Of course, it started that concept, yes, last year. So okay, five. That was that time was 5 years. Now it's 4 years. 4 years also. Let's see. 4 years nothing. 4 years is nothing in the life of a
Correct.
in
It
terms of a
flies.
country or a dispute resolution system that you want to put through. But okay, let's put it there. Let's target some things that we have to do there, which is what I'm going to be doing through the symposium that I'm doing. The second one is coming up in April on heart, soul, and spirituality. First, let's make people understand that those are important things. Again, this whole technical way that it has been pushed, though, that has been left out. So we'll have discussions on that, then decolonization, then of course, how do we get those village mediators, school mediators,
Correct.
all that. That slowly, slowly, let's put it. But we have to build good
How
people.
to
We have to get
discuss
them
with
together.
them, how to, I won't use the word typically train them, but
Yeah,
of course, 100% we have to guide them. We have
yeah.
to give
They
them
or
some
they will
guidance
also.
so that it is channelized and it is systematically done. They are doing it, but in case if we help them with
No,
some
how?
kind of a guidance, then,
No,
it will show
no,
better
what I'm
results.
trying to do is that the problem that is happening is that because obviously it is not something that they are, the even those people are doing it as, like, we are calling it mediation, what they're doing, they're doing it, okay, some people come to them and they sit with them and they do that. But what we are trying to create an atmosphere that this is an activity. First of all, they should get paid because they have to be valued. Then what I want to create is this whole lot of peacemakers who are going to go out there, of course, identify those with the mediator mindset, talk to people about why they should resolve the dispute in an amicable manner. So that's why I said teachers will be good people to do that. And then they get to know, okay, so and so has a dispute with that person, to even tell them that you must. They should try that. Why don't you people sit
Yes.
together and do it? Of course, you can't do it. There is this person in our community who's respected. Why don't we go there? Why they can help you. So that is that peacemakers work. So this is the
I
kind
think
of
going to school is the best idea. Simple reason
yeah,
because when I came to Bangalore 17 years back, and I had very few cases, so I had enough of time. So what I used to do is I used to go and work for schools, and there is something called CMCA, Children's Movement for Civic Awareness. That's an NGO, and I used to go and work there, and for them I used to go to school, and I have seen the result that when you teach children, I mean, it goes directly to the parents.
yeah.
And, instead of teaching adult, you teach minors and they teach adult. It works better, and it's really nice because they have understood the concept for once. They will not forget.
Absolutely. That's exactly why it's important to get them involved. So that's like I said, so this is going to be various parts of it. One is that in the community, identifying those people, in the school, telling the children,
Yes,
identifying the children also by the children, not by
correct,
anyone else, but creating that atmosphere that this is something that you have to do within yourselves, not an authority figure coming in and telling the same way that appointing someone.
nothing wrong that some of the mediators, they go and they periodically once in a month they go and meet the school,
Yeah,
and they have one session and they talk about mediation. What is mediation? What is dispute resolution? What are the methods and what are the steps? So they are understanding what, indirectly, instead of saying what is vatna patna, how to take negotiations, what are the types of negotiations. We can talk to them without those jargons.
yeah, because what I'm trying to tell you, if you try it, just try it. Because I speak to school children, just try it. Just go there, ask them. Just ask them. Don't have to tell them anything. Just ask them. They will tell you everything about the process without using obviously the words that you're using. How they've done it. Those ones who are doing it, they will tell you how they're doing it. The persons who benefited or they know how they do it, they will tell you exactly what the process is. They know everything. What problem that starts is that when we go out there and start telling them this is how things are done, this is how it is, they move away from something that they already know. They start looking at, oh, there is some other thing. What I'm trying to say is that connect them with something that they already know and they're doing. So that's the
Correct.
question. The only question I ask them is this aspect to start with right now, because we need to identify those with the mediator mindset. So I'm just asking them that question: who is there in your school or in your friend circle whom you trust in terms when there's a fight or something, that person you trust to help you resolve it? Because I'm saying there are two parts. One is the person who in some way says, no, 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 you must not fight. That's the peacemaker. Perfect, we need that person also. But
Correct.
helping you resolve a dispute, they know who those people are. They
Correct.
actually work on a different level. So both those things have to be looked at separately, because sometimes there is this confusion that just telling people, no, 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 you will not fight, and that's become mediation. No, it's not mediation.
Correct.
So
Early age, in case if they are taught, and some of them they come forward and then they are trained or
uh,
maybe guided. I would use the word.
no,
Okay,
okay. Shilpa, what I'm saying is just for you try it out. Just create that atmosphere saying that, look, this is something that you can do. Already you have these people within your
yes,
school. Why don't you people, whenever you have a fight, you should go to these people, and people who are already going to them, they should talk about their experiences. And then of course the teachers and the principal have to stay away from this aspect that the children are going to
yes,
do within themselves. Because when someone was telling me that, oh, the teacher can appoint someone, I said, then that whole party self-determination concept they will take with them when they go out, that someone is going to appoint someone. No, you have to
correct,
find the people, you have to resolve the dispute within yourself. So that atmosphere is, to start with, just needs to be created without any concept of teaching them anything, but they know everything. So
correct.
try that out. I mean, we keep talking about it, but just all I was saying, one school, one community, one village, that's all. Just
Correct.
try it, and then then what we'll do is with our experiences, then we'll discuss with more people who are doing it. Let's
Yes.
just get together. We'll discuss this aspect, what the learning is, and without in any way teaching, wanting to teach and saying we know better or we know more about it. Without that, let's see how it works out.
Yes. Sure.
So Shilpa, what but I mean in terms of I don't like to say it, but okay, concluding remarks or anything that you want to send out as a message to the mediation world. Of course,
I
for
think
people
we
we've
can
already said.
say,
Yeah,
yes, I can say that, we all are doing really good work, and let's create an environment. Let's pass on the message to the society at large that what is mediation, how it works for them. I'm 100% sure we will come out, and we will understand in India better. Simple reason, because we have got our cultural barriers also. The different culture is there, and that's the beauty. So every cultural barrier will, they will overcome themselves, and a community mediation will come in existence, and that will be the beauty. So I'm very happy, looking forward to, for that day to come, and then where we are going to see everywhere this community mediation working. And naturally there won't be much of litigation going to the court. So
but
our courts are also going to have hardly 10 cases a day.
but Shilpa, for that you'll have to start planting the seed, which is what you're going to
Yes.
be doing. If you
Yes.
start planting the seeds now, definitely over the next
Sure.
5, 10 years, we look back and say, yes, that thing we started there today in that community, they're actually doing this. In that
Yes.
school, they're doing this. Those children who have come out from school have
Correct.
actually done this in their community, in their
Correct.
workplaces. Some of them have gone and they're working with the government or they're setting up businesses. They have taken that culture to that place. That is what, when we look back 10 years
Absolutely.
later, that is what will make us feel happy, that yes,
Correct.
we created that culture of mediation.
Yes. So we have to start from today onwards, and we are doing, of course, last 10 years. But now we have to do it more, creating awareness and environment. I think we
Exactly.
will be sorted.
Perfect. So the culture of mediation we have to first develop,
Yes.
identifying those with the, but
Community mediation, what I really
yeah,
enjoy.
but identifying the right people,
Identifying.
right
Yes.
people, because the user experience has to be the best, because that there are not enough, I keep saying there are not enough positives out there to balance the negatives. So it
Correct.
is one negative is going to go out to so many people, and there are people who don't want it to be promoted as much.
Correct.
So that gets an opportunity there. So definitely we need to do that. So Shilpa, thank you very much for
Thank
coming in. I
you.
know it's got a little late for you. We should have started early, but
No
obviously you
issues.
were also busy.
I
So thank you. Thank you.
enjoyed.
No, it's always
Thank
enjoyable
you.
talking to you, Shilpa. But of course, this is in front of camera. You're not the Shilpa that I speak to on the phone, definitely.
Yes.
But,
Without any barriers.
so thank you, Shilpa. So let
Correct.
me just
Thank
get this
you.
off.